This will be Christmas Eve episode.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Got some lights around us, some trees in the background.
You know, your favorite podcast show had to have a Christmas special.
Christmas special.
And this is the Christmas special.
Yeah.
We for college students of West Palm are bearing gifts.
Do you like what we've done with the place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look where we are. Look what
good.
we've decorated a little bit.
Yeah. We
But
got
also-
festive with it.
A little visitor. One of the things we were talking about that we, just to self-glaze a little bit, that we love about our pod is that we move around. Like,
Who else does that?
Yeah,
we
nobody
try to
else.
move around, and it's like...
And
like,
we want to stay like that.
we
You know
wanna
what I
stay
mean?
like that.
Like, it would be nice to have a
Yeah.
studio, but like to keep going
Yeah.
in different places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's fun.
And
be
it's
back.
cool. It's really cool. Oh,
Bye, Gage.
Oh, there he
Um,
goes.
Gage. Okay.
Okay, exit
But
scene for Gage. I
One
guess.
of the...
What's he doing? Oh, is he?
What is he? What is he
Oh,
doing?
he's catching it.
A bug. He just caught a bug.
He caught the bug.
What?
What is that?
He just caught
Jiminy
it.
Cricket.
Gage,
what
are
is
you
it?
doing?
Oh, it's a
Whoa.
beetle. Okay,
Whoa.
don't
I don't know
bring-
if it can
yeah,
show
just-
up on the thing.
I'm not a big beetle guy.
Yeah,
I caught
A
a
wow.
beetle.
Christmas beetle.
So it's a chill beat. Like
Cool.
it won't. That
This
thing
is
won't.
easily the most chaotic.
If it
beginning
flies at
we've
my
had.
face, I'm gonna
won't bite
throw
you?
hands with you.
I hope it doesn't do anything. I've caught beetles before.
He's got like a wing coming out of his butt.
So
yeah,
you
he
were
does.
one of those kids, Gage, that would
That is
like
a handicapped beetle.
here, look.
That beetle has an extra
bee.
chromosome.
Grab.
on.
No, we're good. But imagine. If
But
it
Christmas-
the
does
kid.
go- yeah,
you're-
Christmas.
are you the kind of guy that likes to catch geckos and stuff?
He's nature.
Okay, Christmas.
As soon as you didn't need him anymore.
Christmas.
Sorry, I had to touch it, or else I wouldn't have been able to focus.
Got it.
We were
Sounds
just
good.
talking about how we're in the weird in-between stage of Christmas where you're no longer a kid, and Christmas is great for a kid.
Yeah.
But looking forward to getting to be
Yeah.
the parents, the adults, the dad who
Right.
gets to make Christmas and buy the Christmas tree and wrap the presents and
Yeah.
put so much work into it. And it's like, that's going to be so much
What-
better.
To experience their joy.
Yeah.
And that goes so like hand in hand with it is more blessed to give than receive.
Right. Well, I feel like that'll make it even more magical when it's not magical for you, but it's magical for your kids.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like there's even like you're helping bring the magic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And that's so cool.
Well, as part of this episode, to kind of like kick it off, so to speak, I mean, what do we appreciate most about Christmas? Why? What makes?
Yeah.
Not just because it's a holiday.
Yeah.
We recognize it as a holiday. Yes, there are all the cliches, but
Yeah.
why is it important?
I've thought about this so much because Christmas it's the best time of the year.
Yeah.
Everything about it is
Yeah.
superlative good. It's the best music, the best food, the best colors, the best decorations, the best like family time and adventures and good things. And it's like everything.
Fun outside and snow and
Right.
the weather.
Yeah.
and
people
whatever.
are objectively just in a better mood.
Yeah, happy.
Yeah.
And we all just decide that. The
Yeah.
crazy
Right,
thing is we
that's
all
so
just decided.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can we all just get along for like
Yeah.
today? Maybe
Yeah.
this week would be cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we do, for the most part, we do.
And the thing is when people start just like, well, why? It's explicitly Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Christ is in it. And that's not some hijacking. It's
No.
like, no, that's what it's always been and always will be. Everybody's listening to music that like fall on your knees like Christ is born. Like it's woven into it. And the thing that I love about it is like we can throw ourselves completely and totally into Christmas without fear of like taking it away, like having it take us farther away from Christ, because we're actually throwing ourselves into rightful celebration.
And also,
Yeah.
it's a taste of what is to come.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
taste of the kingdom of
Right.
God.
Well, it's like the beginning of Jesus' life. So it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's that literal taste of like Jesus has come. He's
Yeah.
going to do something so special.
Yeah.
And like we can celebrate that
I'll
in the
never.
future.
I always think of, and I wish I got to go back and research it again
Yeah.
so I can remember the name. But they made a movie about it. It's that I don't know if it was the French and the English, or if it was the
Oh,
not the
during
French and the
World War
English.
I.
I'm sorry, the Germans and the English, or
Yeah.
the Germans and the
Oh,
French.
It was
yeah,
the
I know what
Germans
you're
and the
talking
French, I
about.
think.
Yeah, and they
On
had like
Christmas
a little
Day.
treaty
Yeah.
on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And we're
They-
talking about one of the most brutal wars in
And they
history.
didn't fight on
and it
the
was
day, right?
And it was and it was fully motivated by it was very Christian influence. Like
Yeah.
the movie didn't portray that as much,
Yeah.
because they kind of made it more like ho 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 Christmas, but it was very much like
But that to me, that's crazy. Like what you were saying, Gage, of
Yeah.
like we all just decide to be
Yes.
happy.
Yeah.
Which like the studies that could be done on that.
Oh my gosh.
That type of like just like thing that happens is like that's insane to me. That like the rest of the year, we're all gonna agree to be upset and angry at each other. But then for
Yeah.
1 month, we're gonna be like, oh, let's all be happy. And it's like,
And
why
it feels
can't
so good.
It feels
it feels
so
so good?
and
It
we
feels so
are
good.
capable of it. It's obviously
Yeah.
in us.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so to me, it's like how do we emulate that and change that into the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Right.
Because like we shouldn't just for one small part of the year all decide to get like that shouldn't be our goal, is to
Yeah.
wait for Christmas
Well,
to be happy.
right.
Yeah, and but like part of the thing that I think you can see in the way we appreciate Christmas is it's such a microcosm of how we talk about enjoying life with the lens of Christ.
Right.
Because we are working overtime to doll up everything, to pretty up everything, right? And so it's easy to look around and admire your surroundings
Yeah.
because we're explicitly drawing attention to it. It's easy to love the sounds and the smells because we're putting so much work into it. But understand, it's like you do that when Christ enters the situation, when he enters your countenance and gratitude overwhelms you. And you can do that at all times, any time of the year, at any moment in your life.
Well, and
Yeah.
what else is it about? It's about giving, right?
Yeah.
We're all giving to each other,
Right.
and we receive things that we didn't earn.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
we didn't like. There's
Yeah.
nothing that we did to deserve that gift.
Right.
And I'm giving and being generous to other people, and so
Yeah.
it is really like one of the best ways to like just show like what Christ actually
Yeah.
did. Like he came to earth and gave us something
Yeah.
that we didn't earn.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so it's so cool that like we can all do that, but like how that actually is like what makes it such a great time of the
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
is because for like 1 month nobody's focused on themselves.
Mhm.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're all focused on I'm gonna go buy gifts and try to make somebody else
Right.
happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of a sudden now we're all so happy. It's
Yeah.
like where is that coming from?
That's
It's
huge.
because
It's
we're all
the time
being
of the year where we're
generous.
all focused. We have to focus on each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can't buy your own Christmas present.
Right.
And
And
it
that would
forces
be
you, if you want to give good gifts, it forces you to be empathetic.
Yeah.
Right.
right.
What do they want?
Oh, you have
right?
to think about
'Cause
what would
it
be the
can
perfect gift be.
It can be less than a $5 gift.
Yeah.
And it like that is their favorite gift.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Some of my favorite gifts that I've received in my life have been like here in
Yeah.
college, less than $5.
Yeah.
Just people like thought about you and made you something.
Right.
And you gave a really good, thoughtful gift to somebody.
Oh
this-
yeah, and like giving thoughtful gifts is it feels so good.
Feels
so
To see it
good.
like light up. This is the first year where I've really like made an intention to give thoughtful gifts to people.
Yeah.
and it feels so good.
Yeah.
It's like why didn't I do this earlier? Because
And it's like, why don't we do that all year? Why don't we gift? It doesn't even have to be physical. What's wonderful is like it's a physical thing, so it's so more concrete than it usually is. But like having that kind of mindset of just giving that curious, countenance towards others all the time, and it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
it can be we can have Christmas every day.
The best part of the gift is like, oh, you know this about me. You
Yeah.
paid attention to me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
listened to me when I said I wanted that one thing.
Yeah.
Well, thoughtfulness. It's
Yeah.
the whole thing of
Right.
and it emulates the Christ
Yeah.
focused outlook that we have to have on
Mhm.
life of thinking outwardly, that our
Yeah.
characters through Christ, God gets the glory. So why are we going to glorify ourselves on Christmas? Right? That
Mm.
defeats the
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're glorifying God, and that shows through in then how we love other people.
Interesting little tidbit that
Yeah.
just popped in my head. You know how like a lot of people get really sad on their birthday?
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah.
cry on their birthday.
Yep.
Right.
When it's a day about
Yeah.
you,
Right.
that doesn't feel good.
No.
Like it
Well, it's
usually
also
doesn't
like,
feel good on your
it's
birthday.
because it lets you down. It's because you expect it
Right.
to be exactly.
Oh, it's a day all
what
about
you
me.
need.
Shouldn't this be great?
And then you
Right.
realize
And it's
like
like,
this
no.
doesn't matter.
No.
Like,
and
it's so
I actually
fleeting.
don't
Yeah.
like the weight of everyone focusing on me.
Right.
I also
Christmas,
don't like making
we-
decisions
we,
like that.
We don't cry on Christmas. We smile and laugh at Christmas, even in the midst of terrible things, because
Yeah.
we're all focused on each other.
Right.
That
Well,
just hit me.
and,
we don't love birthday. We love Christmas.
Well,
Right.
and the other thing that I love about Christmas is not just generosity, but like intentional time with those who you love.
That was
And
I was
that's
going to bring
what-
that up
That's
too.
what makes it so special, and that's why things like traditions and family traditions and whatever is so special, is because like you get like that special time with your family, and you're
Yeah.
making memories, the people that you love,
Right.
and there's nothing else like that
Yeah. Right.
throughout the whole year.
I love the obligations of Christmas.
Yeah.
I love, a lot of people complain about it, and I even love, in some weird way I can't explain, the complaining about it. Like, well, we have to fly over across the country to see everybody, and
Yeah.
we have to put up the lights, and we
But you still
have to
do
do
it.
this.
Right.
You still
And
do
it's
it.
like,
do it.
because you have to, people wouldn't otherwise do it unless they had to. That have to brings you into love and community that you wouldn't otherwise do. Because
Right.
I have to see my loved ones. We are in a context where people that you might not even like
Yeah.
you're in a loving, beautiful, holistic picture
Right.
of what life ought to be.
To me, this is like the one time that like social pressure is a
Yeah.
good thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it
I
like
agree.
makes you do something that is joyous. Like
Yeah.
the people who don't want to put up the lights, who don't want to hang out with family, You have to.
You have to.
You
it shows
have to
you
be
a healthy
happy.
picture of rest as well.
Right,
Yeah,
because
like we were
it's
talking
Yeah.
about earlier.
what did you do over Christmas?
Yeah.
I worked. Can you imagine if somebody said that, you'd be like, what is wrong with
Bah,
you?
humbug,
the Grinch?
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Literally.
It's you have this social pressure to rest in a very good, healthy way,
Yeah.
spend time with your family, and it's like the Bible commands us to do this once a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Once a week, we're supposed to have meals with our family and disconnect and like focus
Yeah.
on God.
Yeah.
Just marvel at Him. We could
And-
have Christmas every week.
Every
in
week.
a way.
Yeah, in a
Once
way.
week.
And the social pressure is what made the Sabbath happen.
Right.
And
Yeah.
social pressure outside of like holidays has been completely removed from society.
Right.
There is no social pressure to check in on your parents and your family. There's
Yeah.
no social pressure
Well, all
to know
good
your
social
to-
pressures have been removed.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, of course. I'm talking about in the
Absolutely,
positive sense.
absolutely.
But we don't have reference for that. It's literally only in holidays, and it's so good in holidays. But we've
Yeah.
removed. Yeah, fix me up, Sam. We've removed social pressure in the positive way that made Sabbath, that made feast days,
Yeah.
that made you stick to your family and know your family and take
Yeah.
care of your family.
Yeah.
We've gotten rid of those, and now we have nursing homes. We have disconnect.
Yeah.
We have
I don't like
ignorance.
nursing homes at
I
all.
hate them. That's
Well,
why I hate it.
nursing
And they're
homes.
so American. They're so new.
Yeah.
They're not
I've
supposed
heard
to
They're like
others-
the
I've
saddest
been in another
places
country
ever.
and heard them talk about
Not
nursing
supposed to
homes.
exist.
They're not supposed to
I
exist.
can't wait
They are
for-
so like
Yeah.
dystopian.
Yeah.
Just it makes no sense.
It's a money machine for the people that own them. We won't go on a nursing home tangent, but it's the money machine for the people who own them, and then it's a relinquishment of responsibility for your elders.
Yeah, for
as-
your for the family.
And
it
as
takes
the way
away
you
from everybody, from the whole
it
society.
takes away from
For
everything.
sure.
Sam, you always say it's like it's not it's not a sacrifice for
No.
you taking in your family.
No.
We're supposed to be around every generation at all times.
Exactly.
The family
Yeah.
structure is the parents have the kids,
Yep.
and the kids grow up,
Yep.
and then the kids take care of the parents.
Yep.
And it's like that's not a burden. That's a
No.
blessing.
It is a blessing.
Yeah.
Having grandma in the armchair is good.
a
also
good thing.
the wisdom too, like when you
Wisdom.
separate the
Yeah.
oldest generation from the youngest generation, like
Yeah.
the biggest thing is like, okay, the grandparents are not hanging out with the grandchildren. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When that happens, and it's like there's a lot of wisdom that's lost.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it's sad too
because of that.
In the Bible, it talks about. I gotta get the verse again, but basically, it explains how old people are as beneficial for young
Mhm.
people as young people are beneficial for
Yes.
old people. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yes.
in both ways they lose, and
Yeah.
actually in both scenarios, I feel like the older person can be bad at expressing how much they need the young person.
Yeah.
And in the same case, the young person, because they just can't comprehend it yet.
Yeah.
Can't express or have a hard time expressing how much they need the old person.
And so, because of that,
Absolutely.
in this modern context, you can't expect the young person to just go out of his. Santa's coming to town. You can't expect the young person to go out of
And
his
a
way to go be
Hellcat.
with the old person because it's
That was
so.
not a
and-
Hellcat. That was a Hellcat would have been better.
I
Would've
know
been
how
better.
a Hellcat sounds.
I'm sorry.
Gage, what are you talking about?
Gage, you obviously don't know your cars the way I do.
I'm sorry.
Giggity, giggity, goo.
All
Help me.
Sam wants for Christmas is a Hellcat.
All right,
Alright,
Sam,
well,
we
he
get
has
it.
one.
Already.
Okay, yeah. He already has the Batmobile.
Do you guys know he had a Hellcat? Do you know that?
Didn't say that.
And he's getting a motorcycle for.
Oh,
No, I'm not getting a motorcycle.
But, like,
for Christmas.
I mean, for
in the
that's-
future.
in the future.
Yeah,
It's
that's
been
gonna be
decided.
exciting.
Shh. My mom can't know about that.
okay.
Well, he's getting a
don't tell
for
on Sam.
I can't know about that.
In the
My mom is actually super stressed about the moped coming down. Like literally every time I bring it up,
Oh,
she
no.
like her brow furrows.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
Anyway, we kind of lost that.
Christmas aside, yeah.
Well, now since we had full stop, one of the things I wanted to do on this episode is read. I got approached to
Yeah.
write an
Read this.
Advent.
Yeah. This
I
is
was in
good.
the Advent like little devotional, which was so cool.
Wow.
I'm a freshman.
I'm just
He's
a
a freshman,
freshman,
by the
I'm
bro.
way.
a freshman, by the way.
All right, guys.
I'm just a chill guy.
So this
He's
is my
6'2".
Christmas
I just own a Hellcat.
devotional, and it's for like December 10th or something. So I'm gonna read this. Hear them ring. Are you listening? Sleigh bells, church bells, jingle bells, and the handbell of a Salvation Army Santa Claus tinkle and ring to
Wow.
usher in the Christmas season.
Whoa.
The symphony of these bells is the first thing you will hear, the first signal that Christmas has begun. Before the singer sings, jingle bells begin the song. Before you purchase your gifts, sleigh bells shudder as you open the shop door. Before the midnight mass or Christmas Eve service, the church bell invites the congregation in. The sound of bells is the perfect start for the Christmas season because bells are made to joyously proclaim arrival.
Dong.
Whether it be an approaching sleigh or a Sunday service, bells let us know that something of substance is on its way. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. Luke 2:11. Like a mighty bell, the angels filled the skies with brilliant alarm, announcing Jesus' birth to the shepherds. And like little jingle bells, the shepherds echoed the message throughout the countryside. The joy of...
We can hear
What
bells
in the world?
now. It's like they're right here with us.
Whoa.
The joy of Christmas is us participating in the echo of that first angelic gospel proclamation. We too get to ring out the wonderful news that our Savior is born, and we too can be born again in Him, free from sin. Let's remember that first message of good news every time we hear a bell announcing the arrival of Christmas to us. Let's let our mouths match the tone of the joyous bells that bring good news to all who have ears to hear. Let's remember as we watch for the bells that herald the return of the Christmas season that we anticipate a far louder trumpet sound when our lovely Jesus returns. So that's my little...
Stay off of TikTok, guys. If your TikTok brain, your social media brain, you'll never be able to write that with the TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. That's what
I
I was
didn't
going
know.
on.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Yeah, you
yeah.
won't be able to
But
hear
that makes
bells.
me feel good. Yeah.
My
That was
point
really
is,
good. And
stop losing your brain cells, guys.
Go back and listen to that with your eyes closed and just imagine hearing the bells ring. It was really cool.
That was.
It was
really-
like a.
That was.
Yeah. I just
Can't
think
wait to
that
read
that
your
was a
book
great
that you
way
write,
for.
man.
Yeah, thank you,
yeah,
man.
seriously, bro. Jed's gonna write some great books in his
Well, like,
lifetime.
I love words. I love beautiful words. I
Yeah.
feel like because we're so like into like
Yeah.
efficiency
Yeah.
that we forget that like language ought to be beautiful.
Well, the only reason that any of us like learn anything is because somebody wrote it in a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometime, and like people are not writing. Like there's actually so many books being produced that it's like the response is that none of us know what to read.
Yeah.
And it's like reading it when you find like a good book that really impacts your life. Like there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's nothing like you will never find any of that in a 30-second reel on Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
Something that requires you to sit down and give part of your life to, like invest like hours, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, of your
Yeah.
life into this thing to learn.
Mm.
And there's just like we've lost that a lot in our society, I think, today.
Yeah. Well, and it's like what he said. It's efficiency at the cost of quality. We
Yeah.
are so focused
Yeah.
on margins, and
Yeah.
margins that's an economic term, but also in the case of we're so focused all the time now on opportunity cost.
Right.
How much of my time is being stolen to do this thing, and then we end up not doing good work.
And beauty is inherently frivolous.
Yeah.
Beauty is inherently something that is above and beyond just normal working order.
Right.
It's if you're going to make a beautiful building, it's going to cost more. It's going to cost
Yeah.
more time and effort, and it's going to things are going to be on it that serve no purpose as the world sees it.
And that context of that time and those
Yeah.
resources adds to the depth of its intricacy, not
Yeah.
only of what's physically visible from the
Mhm.
time that's been spent, but then the context of how much time went into
Yeah.
it. And that ties into our series, which we've started, and please go check it out.
Yeah.
Our Wonderful Life series. We
Yeah.
recorded and posted episode 1,
Yeah.
and we're going to continue to talk about why appreciating
Mhm.
life is so important.
Yeah.
And speaking of
but things like
it's-
that.
yeah, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
That
Back to
Christ-
Christmas.
Christmas
Hello.
movie.
Well, this
Hello.
is kind of like episode 2 in a way of Wonderful Life.
It
which
kind of
like,
is, yeah.
Why is Christmas so good? And it's like I was gonna ask you guys like, what are some of your favorite like Christmas experiences when you were younger? Just because like I feel like there's just
Yeah.
something so special about being able to look back and just
Yeah,
like just
that's
feel
a good
those feelings
question.
and put yourself in those shoes again, of like, and I think that's why traditions are so cool. Just because it really ingrains in your memory
Yeah.
something that you've
Yeah.
done with your family,
Yeah.
a happy time, something that you
Mhm.
can like look back on.
Yeah.
And Christmas like really forces us to do that, in that sense of like that you guys were talking like slowing down. Like
Yeah.
it makes us slow down, rest, like focus on family,
Yeah.
stop focusing on ourselves, focus back on Jesus. Like
Yeah.
Jesus is like at the center of what Christmas is. So you can't really like, I mean, you can celebrate Christmas without talking about Jesus, but you can't celebrate Christmas without thinking about Jesus.
Right.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Or thinking about not thinking about Jesus.
Right. Well, that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Do you know
It's
what I
like
mean?
he's
Right,
there,
right.
whether you like it or not. Like he's
Yeah.
there.
And even if you remove him from it, it's the dynamics of I almost said of Christian. The dynamics of Christmas are so much of a part of
Yeah.
how you exist as a Christian.
Yeah.
Which is
Mm.
something.
Well, so much of it is
we
just
forget.
symbolizes what Jesus' coming meant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole the gift aspect.
And it's about his coming. It's about the beginning.
Yeah.
It's about the beginning.
Do you
of his,
think because Christ is so unavoidable at Christmas, and because Christmas kind of forces you to meditate on him, and we also happen to be more joyous, that like it's giving us what we ought to have in meditating on him at all times.
Yeah.
And it's like it's kind of forcing us into a level of living where we are dwelling in his presence more often
Right.
than we otherwise would. Part of the reason that people aren't accessing the kind of joy they have at Christmas more often is because
They don't live like that.
they don't live like that, and they don't, in the way that culture now has Jesus throughout it more. If you as the Christian kind of do the work extra mile of making Jesus more accessible throughout the day in your mind and what you're interacting with, maybe you'd be able to interact with that joy more.
Yeah. Well, and it's like what we were talking about at the earlier in this episode is it's your focus.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, we're focused on God,
Right,
and then
right,
peripherally,
right.
then we're focused outwardly on other
Yeah.
people because we want to glorify God. But then in the case of the people who don't follow God,
Yeah.
it's the case of they are experiencing what we experience peripherally. Of they're focused on their people and focused on that like empathy and all those qualities that inherently glorify God.
But
But
ultimately doing like carrying out what Christmas is, like
Yeah.
God giving us a gift.
Yeah.
And so people giving out gifts on Christmas is ultimately like walking in what God did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Right.
you cannot get away from like emulating what God did for us
Yeah.
by
Right.
celebrating Christmas.
When we talk about our favorite Christmas traditions, the one
Yeah.
that kind of pops into my mind are like favorite memories. Just every year when you go to church
Yeah.
and they have the candles. during
Yes.
service,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
one.
yeah.
When you're singing hymns and then they start with one candle.
Yeah.
They spread it. You're supposed to, everybody listening, little PSA, the unlit candle is on top. The lit candle, don't flip it over. You're going to spill wax
Yeah.
all over everybody. It's not
yeah,
good.
Yeah, yeah. PSA.
Unlit candle on top, catch the flame, spread it on.
That's
and it's
good.
like the symbolization is the light of Christ, right?
Yeah.
Being spread throughout the world. Like,
Yeah.
The light has come into the world.
yeah.
And it's conquered the darkness.
Yeah.
I would
And,
say,
sorry.
And it's
no,
wa-
that's
and
it.
it's,
Like,
and it's
sorry.
such good warm light too.
Yeah.
Like, something
Oh,
about a
man.
candle just being like orange and not white, like not this weird, but like this like warmth of growing and spreading
And how tender and quiet and
yeah,
small
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like
such
at the
small
end, it's-
flames too.
It's small flames, and they're silently passing. In the same way that Christ didn't come in fanfare, he came in humility, almost
Yeah.
humiliation. That's the
Yeah.
way the gospel really spreads.
Yeah.
It spreads through repentance. It spreads through like openness and relationship. It's not, believe it or not, no matter how many times we tell ourselves it's through loud, giant, sweeping movements. It's little individual
Well,
discipleship.
it's literally one to one.
One to one.
One to one. It's not like there's one giant candle that everybody goes whoo like
Yeah.
and everybody's candle is lit. Like it's just one. Takes time. Takes effort. It takes
Yeah.
you being intentional with somebody else, them being intentional with you, and that's like literally exactly how the gospel spreads.
And now we're
Yeah.
talking about discipleship, and isn't
we
it
always
interesting?
come back to
You
discipleship.
can't
You
light
should, yeah.
everybody's candle at the same time. It's
Yeah.
not this big thing. It's this
Right.
like you light one person's candle very intentionally. and
Maybe two.
and nobody can discern the candles apart. When you look
Yeah.
at like a thing of Christmas lights, you can't piece it. You're just seeing the whole tableau. You
Some
can't name individual
Some have been
ones.
burning for longer and have
Yeah.
lit more candles.
Yeah,
but
sure.
ultimately they're all candles and they have the same
And
light.
ultimately, they didn't do all this. And like, I don't want to repeat myself, but ultimately, they didn't do all those candles at the same time.
Yeah.
It took time individually with each candle.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes
that's the
it also
effect.
takes longer to light some, right?
Yeah.
Some people come and seriously their hands are shaking.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're like
Or they got a
um,
defective candle and it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the sense that like the flame doesn't run out.
Yeah.
There is enough flame
Right.
for everyone, and
Right.
everyone has the same
There's
exact
endless
amount
flame.
of flame.
You're not losing anything.
You don't lose your flame when
You
you,
don't
give it
lose
to
your
somebody
flame.
else.
And then when
it's not like it
all
divides by
of
two.
the
Yeah.
flames are in one place, you have
It's better than-
cohesively. You have a big giant light.
It's
And
better
it's
than
so
the,
beautiful,
It's
you
better than
can't
the
even,
lights
like-
being on.
You're just
Right.
so caught up. You're like, like you could stare at it forever.
right.
That's so cool. I've never thought about like the lighting of candles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
that was really
metaphorical
good.
type of way. That was actually really cool.
And
I
now
wish-
we're all gonna go to Christmas Eve service and
I
be like,
wish
oh,
I
And
had
start
the boys.
crying.
When
mid-
you pay attention to it, it is the
Yeah.
most beautiful thing ever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I wish I had something that like introspective to say, but
Well, like the other thing I was gonna be like, one time it snowed real hard and nobody showed up, and it was just like, well, yeah, it was good. No, it was good. I really
Oh,
liked it.
okay.
You would hate it, but it was like out,
called him out. It's
out of, it was like out of my aunt's house. Normally,
Yeah.
like our head count on Thanksgiving was like 49 people,
awesome.
and like the same people usually about as
49.
many show up to Christmas, a little less.
Yeah.
But one Christmas it snowed really hard, and like only the brave showed up.
Only the brave.
So we drove like an hour in this blizzard,
That
and we
cracks
made
me
it.
up.
And it was like
Only
me,
the
my
brave
aunt and
is so
uncle,
funny.
and like my grandma. And it was just so intimate, and I loved it so much because it wasn't
Yeah.
this. Yes, I love it when everybody's there. I love all of
Something
you.
about intentionality.
But yeah, it was just like this small thing, and you could have deeper conversations.
Yeah.
we
it
It was
also
just like,
risked something to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Where it's
Felt
like,
so cozy.
yeah.
yeah.
All right, I'll get over it.
I want to use that as a segue into my most fond memory, and it's brief or tradition,
Yeah.
if you will,
Mhm.
and it's it's the transition between Christmas Eve and Christmas morning,
Yeah.
but in a very specific way.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys can all pick out a different part.
Yeah.
My part is like what you're saying is Christmas Eve seems to be the time that, at least for my family, we sit down. The vibes are just so good.
Mine will
Yeah.
echo this.
The music,
Mm.
the food,
Hot
you're just
cocoa.
chilling.
The anticipation of
There's
like something so
nothing
special is
hanging
Yeah.
over your head, and you're
Yeah.
just focused on the people around you.
Yeah.
And we've had my family, like me and my mom, my sister, we've had some of the best conversations on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
But then you go to sleep, you wake up, and it's like a linear
Yeah.
continuity
Yeah.
of that, and
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. I go to bed with the excitement of
Yeah.
I can't wait to continue this in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and it's like it really, though, when you think about it, is like a way of how you should look at every day.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
It's
so
excitement
good.
that
Yeah, that's
cannot be
huge.
contained.
That's
of like
so good.
when you wake up, you can't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
this is
And it's hard to even sleep.
it's hard
Yeah.
to sleep. You don't
You're
want to go
so
to bed
excited you
because
can't
you,
go to
like you
bed.
just love
Yeah.
the experiences
And like
that you're.
you're so like we can have that every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Like and it's just how you're looking at your life. It's like, what are you actually excited about? Are you excited about the thing that's in the box?
No.
No. You're
At
excited.
least you shouldn't be.
Right.
You might be, but
I don't even think
can
people
be.
who-
you can.
as like a-
yeah,
as
yeah,
a
yeah.
Right.
secondary-
I painted
Yeah.
too broad. Yeah.
No, but yeah, and you can and you should and you are.
Yeah.
But like the thing that you're really excited about is like the people, the context, like the sanctity of life with this kind of joy behind it. Mine is exactly the same. It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Because my family and I have we're huge on Christmas and we're really big on traditions. So every Christmas Eve we make fondue and we watch Elf and we have a charcuterie board.
Charcuterie board elf. That's amazing.
Yeah, every single
That's
year.
so funny.
We love it. And we've never, this will make sense, we've never lived in a house for longer than 4 or 5 years. So there's not a house that I really have tied to Christmas, but I'll believe that I do. But there was one Christmas where we did a whole huge out west trip, did a bunch of national parks. It was great, America. And we had Christmas in Telluride. America. We had Christmas in Telluride in this ski lodge right on the side of this mountain. So it's
That's
beautiful. And
Christmas.
so we had the whole trip. We had all our Christmas gifts in the trunk.
Wow.
And we took Christmas into
Crazy.
Telluride.
That's crazy.
And
That's
awesome.
we always go all out for Christmas, but this was definitely the most all
that's
out.
amazing.
And it proved, and it was, since we live in Florida, this Christmas was white Christmas. We did
Yeah.
snowball fights.
Yeah.
And it proved to me that this is gonna so sappy, but Christmas is not a place; it's the people
the
you have it
people. Yep.
with.
Yes.
Because
Yep.
we
Perfect.
put all
Yeah.
of it into it,
Yep.
and we took it to this
Yep.
place that we'd never been before. But it was the most Christmas that it had ever been because we had the traditions, we had the people, we had the things that really made Christmas Christmas in all of the contexts and times that we had it, and we had brought that, and we proved Christmas could be Christmas anywhere,
Yeah.
and it was we had
Exactly.
fondue
So-
and we watched Elf.
In addition to that, I feel like I'm giving more than my fair share of stories here. But
No.
this year,
Yeah.
haven't you felt like this year has been different as well? We're
Yeah.
away from home,
Yeah.
and we've very much done Christmas things on our
Yeah.
own.
Yes.
I
With
agree.
each other,
with
yeah.
friends.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
People we
Which is
love.
the people
Yeah.
we love, the family we choose. It's all the Hallmark card.
Dude, that Christmas party in
Gage
Coastal
was awesome.
was
Was
so,
so
good.
That was such
And
a
then-
good time.
Yeah.
So this was
The
kind
conversations
of
were off the
unrelated.
chart.
And the Lions won.
I helped set up.
And we talked about the conspiracy
Yeah.
theories, bro.
That
Around
was a
the,
crazy good conversation.
That was
I helped set up a
which
Christmas
will be
tree
talked about
with,
on here.
with our friend Jose. It was his first time setting up a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I got to witness that. Yeah. The joy that he had
Oh,
was
so cool.
insane. It was so good, and it was I'm not even upset that I didn't get to do my tree at home,
Right.
because it's different, but it's the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
And there's some people will look at that and be sad, and they'll be like, "Oh, but it's not with my family." And it's listen, the faces may change, but the actual root of it, of being with people that you love with all of your heart, and loving them to the nth degree, that's something that will always be there. And when people get sad about moving out and going on your own, it's well, you get to start your own family and you get to build these relationships, and there's going to be a kid who will have that joy that you had. And it's that's constant. And when people get sad about losing loved ones, well, it's in heaven, it's it's Christmas every day,
Yeah,
because it's
right.
communion directed
Yeah.
at God.
Right.
Right.
All the time.
All
Yeah,
the time. And you can have that here, heaven on earth.
Yeah.
The
Right.
kingdom
The
of God
unity,
is at
it's
hand.
not even within your friends. It's there's unity between everybody everywhere.
Yeah.
You just walk past people on the street and you wave and you're so joyous and so are they.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing that really unifies people out of the whole year. It's the one thing that's like, it's more than sports. It's more than the weather. This is like the unifying thing. And it's so beautiful that it's around
Yeah.
Christ and it's not accidental. It's very much like
So-
it's the only
it's the
thing
only
that could do it.
Yeah.
Right.
There was one thing that, Sam, you said to me, like, it was like the first week, not of school, but like that we were like all kind of friends, that has stuck with me forever. You might not even remember it, but it was one of the most encouraging things ever.
I drive a Hellcat.
No,
I don't think I've ever actually said that
he hasn't.
sentence.
no, he
ever.
doesn't. We're making fun of
He
things
says,
that don't exist.
"I drive the Batmobile."
I'm Batman.
Actually, you guys imposed that on me.
That was so
But
funny. I'm
first
gearing up to say
interaction with
something
Sam-
so
I'm sorry.
like, and Sam is no. I love it. Sam was like, and you were like, Batman.